This is Bloomberg Markets. I'm Matt Miller. Business leaders are meeting at the White House later today with President Biden to discuss strategies for confronting the growing threat of cyber attacks. The meeting, called due to the recent string of high-level, widespread cyber attacks, such as the Colonial Pipeline hack and what we saw at JB Meets. For more insight, we welcome Jamil Jaffer, National Security Institute founder and executive director and vice president for strategy, partnerships, and corporate development at IronNet. He is an expert in cybersecurity. He served at the White House as an associate counsel to President George W. Bush. Jamil, great to have you on the program. So corporate leaders are going to Washington. Has Biden not done enough already?
You know, Matt, actually, President Biden's been doing a whole lot in this area. We've seen at least 2 executive orders, a number of things coming out of various agencies, including the new Joint Cyber Defense Collective announced by Jen Easterly at the Cyber Infrastructure and Security Agency at DHS. We've seen some great appointments. We've seen the appointment of Ann Neuberger as Deputy National Security Advisor, Chris Inglis as National Cybersecurity Director, Joe Nakasone at NSA and Cyber Command, Rob Joyce at NSA's Cybersecurity Director. So a great team, a lot of work going on. Now they're bringing industry in, talking about how industry and government can work better together to really solve some of these ransomware and larger cybersecurity issues, including nation-state threats.
Is it the case that a lot of this hacking is happening in countries like China and Russia, where the government could very easily stamp it out? I mean, I can't imagine running a large criminal organization in Russia is the kind of thing that Vladimir Putin would put up with were he not, in some ways giving it his blessing.
No, you're exactly right, Matt. Look, nothing happens in Vladimir Putin's Russia without his knowledge and consent, and frankly, without him taking a little bit off the top or his cronies around him. And so what you see in Russia is a real confluence of cyber criminality and nation-state activity. Oftentimes, the cyber actors who do the work day to day for the national agencies, they can go home and hack at home for their own pocketbooks, and they pass that money on to the gang around Vladimir Putin. The same is increasingly true in China, too. We're seeing the growth of a cyber criminal industry there, too, where there's cross purposes with the nation state. And so in a lot of ways, in order to effectively confront this threat, you've got to engage in effective deterrence against those nation states, as well as getting better on the defensive side here at home.
So how can people like Tim Cook and Jamie Dimon and Andrew Jassy actually help? I mean, what can they do that the CIA and the NSA can't already do by themselves?
Well, it's a great question, Matt. I mean, part of the challenge here is that today we expect companies to defend themselves individually against every cyber threat. Of course, we don't typically expect that in the normal nation-state context. If Russia were to fly a bomber over the United States, we wouldn't expect Amazon or Apple or JP Morgan to buy surface-to-air missiles. Yet in cyberspace, we expect exactly that of every company, regardless of size. And so what we've got to do is companies have to work with one another, large and small, industries with other industries, and government industry together to create a collective defense capability so we can effectively stand up against nation states like Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea.
If we're talking about a cyber war here, Jamil, is it all about defense? I mean, is there any potential for an offensive from the United States of America?
Well, absolutely. Part of the thing here is we got to get better at defense. So this collective defense idea, bringing industries together, companies together, nations, frankly, allied nations together to work with one another to better defend each other, that's key on the defensive side. On the offensive side, we've got to push back, right? We've got to demonstrate to Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and these criminal gangs that we mean business. And what I mean by that is we've got to show them there will be a cost for doing these type of activities. And so if we extract that pain out of them, they're less likely to attack us again. And so there's 2 pieces of this. There's the offensive side, which really the government is responsible for and needs to do. They need information from industry to do that. And then the government and industry working together to defend the nation in cyberspace.
You founded National Security Institute, but you're also a VP for strategy at IronNet Cybersecurity. What can you do?
Look, I think IronNet is doing exactly this. We're trying to bring together various companies, various industries, the energy sector, the financial services sector, healthcare, in the U.S. and frankly abroad, our allies in Asia and in the Middle East and Europe, to come together and really create this collective defense capability with the system we call Iron Dome, like the defensive system that's used elsewhere. And so we bring together these capabilities, and so part of this is really figuring out how companies can work together. And you need a capability to do that. We do that through behavioral detection and collective defense.
Jamil, thanks so much for joining us. Jamil Jaffer there, founder of the National Security Institute. And as I mentioned, he's also VP for Strategy, Partnerships, and Corporate Development at IronNet Cybersecurity. Still ahead, Wall